good question.
What gives you the right to go and take it a second time if you're not
It's a good
supposed to take
question.
Because it was like you did it the first time correctly. That's what a Bais says.
According to Rava.
So according to Rava, there's a special pasuk that even though you got it against the law, but since you have a pasuk that says Hashef Tashiv, which is a double, that means you have a special proof, a special permission. You have to give it to the guy, and you can take it back and give it again.
Must be.
Because it's Hashef Tashiv. Why would it say twice? That means you have to take it back from the guy in the middle. How do you give it the second time if you don't take it back?
Must be that there's some sort of kinyan that the lender gets when he takes
Took it, even though it wasn't legal, it wasn't according to the law.
Okay. Ola Abaya. What does Abaya need this pasuk for? According to Abaya, it's automatic. It says, Ilav di Amar Rachman Hashiv Tashiv. If the pasuk didn't tell me that you have to return it, I mean, I would have thought, Isura Avad, you did a sin. Boy Nahadi, boy Loy Nahadi. Maybe you don't even have to return it by day. Kamash Malan comes to tell me that you have to return it. Okay, next case. Repeya. What about the corner of the field that you're supposed to leave for the poor? It says, don't finish the last corner, leave it for the poor. Tanan, mitzvah's peya lahafresh menachem. Mitzvah peya is to leave it standing. Layafresh menachem. Let's say you didn't leave it standing, you cut it down. Yafresh min amrim. You leave peya from the bundles. You leave the bundles there. La yafresh min amrim. If you took the bundles. Yafresh min akri. So you take off from the silo, I guess a corner, and you leave it for the poor. Ad shalei merchu. This is before you. Miruach is. I think they had a lid on the silo or something. Anyway, it was piled up, and like you can imagine, grain would be piled up. They would have to make the top smooth, maybe to put the lid on, or they would make it flat. So, Mirchu, let's say he already made it flat. Then Maisrei, first he takes Maiser, V'naisen light, and he gives. Does Maiser first, then he gives the payah. Shim Rabbi Shmuel Amru, name Rabbi Shmuel, they said, After Mafresh Mina Isa. You can even take payah off the dough. Okay, even if you baked it already into the bread. Now the Gemara says, Tiyufta da Abaya. On Abaya. Abaya would say that once you didn't take the payah, it should be finished. Here we see that everything that you're doing doesn't help. You're still chayav in the payah. In the payah.
Which would make sense if this was a knas on people.
Right.
So that they wouldn't be more careful.
Right.
But why would it be a Bais that don't hold like Rabbi Shmuel?
According to, if you don't hold like Rabbi Shmuel, it's okay. Yeah. So 1 second, they're quoting over here Taisvis. According to the Rabbanan, you're potter. Now, if you didn't take the Truma original, if you didn't leave the pay originally, yeah, I'm not sure. I guess the kasha is from all the steps leading up to that. Why do you still have to take? You should have acquired it the whole time. You should have been effective. Each one of these sins that you did should have stopped the whole mitzvah. So Abaya says, Shani Hasim Damakra Azev, or Tazev Yaseir. It says an extra time Tazev, that you should leave it. This tells me that it says once the same pasuk, Lani V'Lager Tazev, says once in Kedoshim, and once in Emor, and Parshas Emor. And that tells me that even though you did something to the grain, you still have to leave for the poor. Rava, according to Rava, you don't need any of these psukim, because according to the Rava, whatever you do is never effective. You should always leave it to you did a sin. It doesn't accomplish anything. You tried to get rid of the mitzvah of payah, but it doesn't help. Why do I need a pasuk? Amalach yesh lecha ziva acher shekazu There is another type of aziva, another type of leaving it. Ve'ezuzu, and which one is this? Hamafkir karmei. If someone tries to get out of giving the gifts to the poor, what he would do is like this. He would make his vineyard hefker. And the rule is that the Tanya was taught in a brisa. Hamafkir karmei, someone that makes his vineyard ownerless. V'hishkim is the next word, lashachar. I don't. My thing is lashachar. Yeah, there's another Gemara here that says v'hishkim ba'bayker, but it's my Gemara's doesn't have all the letters are not complete. V'hishkim lashachar. He wakes up in the morning ubatzrei, and he harvests. So chayev beperet ba'oilais. He's chayev in these laws, special laws that are applied to a vineyard. Peret is, I think, single grapes that fall, and oilais are the deformed clusters. B'shikcha, if he leaves it in the field, he has to leave it for the poor. Ubepeya, and he has to leave peya as well. Upatim in a meiser. However, he is exempt from meiser, because by meiser you don't have the extra taziv. So you see what's happening here is, if he would really be mafkirid, he would be 100% exempt. He's not really being mafkirid. He's just making an announcement. My field is hefker, and then in the morning he runs in and he takes it all. So he didn't put it out in the street. It's in his property, protected. It's an announcement that he makes just to exempt him. He's chayiv in all of those things. That's what the pasuk Taziv tells me, that he still has to take peret, shikha, eilos, and peya. The only thing that he doesn't have to do is he doesn't have to take the meiser off that vineyard.
So it's the top of Taziv that's extra.
No, I think it's the whole Taziv. It says twice the pasuk. The ani v'lager Taziv. It says it once in Kedoshim, once in Parshas Emor. And by Meiser, it doesn't say that. It doesn't have the extra one. Okay. Now it says Amalei Ravacha Brei Ravala Ravashi. This is the big question here. Now that you've given all these answers, the Abaye v'Rava b'may pligi. So what is Abaye and Rava arguing about? There's no machlokes.
He's the son of Rava of the machlokes. He's trying to help his father.
Is that who it is? Ravacha Brei Rava. Ravacha Brei Rava. Yeah, it's the son of Rava according to this. She says to Ravashi, it's interesting because on this chart, in this chart, he's older than Ravashi.
Wow.
On the chart, at least. So Ravacha says to Ravashi, what's the machlokes? Everyone agrees to all of those cases. The question is, which one is the exception? You have a bunch of cases here, a bunch of cases there.
But they all agreed upon it.
Agree to everything. This is either that's a special pasuk or that's a special pasuk. But so what's the machlokes? Gemara says, pligi b'ribis ktsutza. I'm sorry, b'ribis ktsutza pligi, kamifligi. They argue about interest in a loan. Uked Rabbi Lazar, like Rabbi Lazar says, it's really a machlokes Rabbi Lazar and Rabbi Yochanan. Damar Rabbi Lazar ribis ktsutza yotzi b'dayanim. Let's say there's a ribis ktsutza. Ktsutza means that it's set. Before the loan was given, you already said how much ribis, how much interest is going to be taken. So now the guy that paid interest says, gets all upset. I paid interest. I know I agreed to the loan and all of that. But now I'm about Shuvam from, can't believe you did that to me. Let's go to court. I want all the money back. All the interest back. It says in the Torah, you can't take interest. So, Rabbi Lazar says, yes, you can go to court. Yotzi b'dayanu, you go to court and take it out. You take it back. So what's that a case? Lay mahani. You did something against the Torah, but it doesn't work. That would be Rava's opinion. Avak ribis, if it's not really ribis, avak means the dust of ribis, which means someone sells an example for this. If someone sells something and he says, if you pay me right away up front, then you can pay this price. But if you're going to pay me later, then you have to pay me more. So, which is a very interesting problem that comes up in a lot of different types of businesses. Whatever, you buy subscriptions or different things,
No, they have you give you like a motivation clause.
Right.
If you pay the full amount now, you get this.
Right.
Even in tuition, say if you pay the tuition now,
right.
It's full, you get a discount. If not monthly, you pay this.
That's how we get around it, because you're saying it's a discount. The price is
right.
really $12.
Right, but according to this Gemara, it's avak ribis.
Well, ribis ketutza is the rice,
Right.
and avak ribis is the rabbanan. So it's saying, For
Daraisa,
those
registration
Dayanim will
also.
take it back.
right.
No, registration
And
you got to pay no matter what.
Block
No, but
reviews,
still, you pay
it's
early, they'll give you a discount.
it's a
So
problem
block
without
reviews,
without a remedy, a defect without a remedy.
Right.
The
It's
Dayanim
not
won't
because of a law.
reverse it.
Right.
See, that's not
Right?
because of
Is
the
that,
law.
That's what's
Yeah,
happening.
it
Yeah.
has to do with like
Ribbis, Avak Ribbis is not yet to b'dayanim. Now Rabbi Yochanan says, I feel Ribbis ktsutza. Even if it's in a document, any yetz b'dayanim, it won't go with dayanim.
They just said it. Why is
I
this?
understand. The machlek is about Ribbis ktsutza. Rabbi Yochanan holds that Ribbis ktsutza is not yetz b'dayanim, which is like a baya. You did a prohibition. Okay, you're done. You accomplished. You got the money. You weren't allowed to, but that's the sin. That's the sin. The sin is what the Torah said, and you can't get it out. So the Gemara says this must be Rav Ashi telling Rav Achabrei. This is Rav Achabrei the Rava telling Rav Ashi. You're trying to give me an answer. What's the machlekes Abai and Rava?
Well, obviously, Rashi puts us in the Gemara. He says, "What are you putting this in the Gemara? What are we trying to learn from this?" So let him take it out of the text. I don't know. Awesome.
I have just two comments to that. One is that the Rabbanan Savaroi held the text of the Gemara and
Put it together.
like Mar Baravashi and all of that.
But somebody put it in the text throughout the time. Somebody decided which text will go on a scroll.
Right, we're going to see soon another case of that. And then also, they were 100% honest with whether they're right or wrong. You know, even when there's Machlekes Abai and Rava would say, I'll bring you a proof that I'm wrong. You know, bring a proof to Abai. So there's 100% honesty in this. Okay. He tells me, Hasan Bisvara Pligi. You think they're arguing over there about the logic of what's considered Ovid Mahani, is it effective or not? Hasan B'Kroi Pligi, that's another pasuk, which doesn't help us at all. Right. Back to the psukim means that, those are exceptions. Yeah. So the Amar Rabbi Yitzchak says, my time with the Rabbi Yochanan. What's the reason for Rabbi Yochanan? Amar Kra Beneshech Nasan Beneshech Tar Beslakach B'chai La Yichya. This is a pasuk in Yecheskel. He takes ribbis, he won't live. L'chaim nitin le'v'leili shaving. He's not going to live, but it doesn't have to pay it back. He gets his other punishment. It doesn't have to do with paying back. He'll get punished in another way. So that means that's a raya to Rabbi Yochanan. You can't get the interest back. Rav Acha Barada Amar Mehacha. Rav Acha Barada says, "V'yarisim malakecha ani Hashem l'mayr nasat v'leili shavin." You don't put it back. Rava, look at this. Rava, who doesn't even hold like Rabbi Yochanan, according to this, he brings a proof to a source for Rabbi Yochanan, and it says, "Hataya v'Yisrael asa mais yumas dam of boy or yiyah v'hili ben paretz sheifich dam." It has these psukim over here that says he did something that's abomination, and it's like murder. So it says Hukshu Malvi Ribis L'Sheif Chidamim. There's a comparison between those that give money on interest and people that murder. Masheif Chidam Le'Nitin L'Shavin, just like you can't return the soul of someone that murdered. Af Malvi Ribis Le'Nitin L'Shavin, it can't be returned. V'Amar Rav Nachman Bar Yitzchak, my time with the Rabbi Lazar, we go back. What's the reason for Rabbi Lazar that says that you can get it out? Damar Kra V'Cheich Chimach. Ahadalei Kihechi Denechye. Denechi Imach. You have to return it so that he should live. You do have to return it. So what is the machlekes? B'shinoi kaina. Shinoi kaina, Rashi has two pshatim. But the simple pshat here is that there is no difference. How does he translate it? Shinoi kaina? If someone changes from what the action is, are his actions effective if there are no psukim there that are telling us which one do I need the pasuk and which one don't I need the pasuk for, in which case? Just naturally, even though there's actually no real case that this applies to, because I'll always have a pasuk that's explaining it, or I do it without a pasuk, but that's the whole machlekes, that there's no like actual. It's all theoretical.
If a tree falls down in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, does it make a